Alright guys, ProStream 4K back here with another install video for the new 4TB hard drive with the hyperspin setup for the arcade for the Nvidia Sheild. Now we're doing this on the brand new Nvidia Sheild PRO. We will need our Pro remote. If you don't have a Pro, if you have the older version of the Nvidia Sheild, you can use your old school remote. You will also need a external controller, either the Nvidia style one or a different one that's compatible with your Nvidia Sheild. And then lastly, you will need your 4TB hard drive that we send out to you guys when you purchase it. And then that's pretty much it to get started. Make sure your controllers are paired up and updated. As you can see, we have a update to do up here, and we're just going to go ahead and dismiss that for now. Everything should work just fine. All right, so we're going to get into this. There's only a couple apps, excuse me, that you're going to need out of the Play Store to stick on here. So we'll go ahead and grab those first. File Explorer. You just go ahead and say File Explorer into the voice guide. You just come over here. You're going to grab the FX File Explorer. That's the easiest one to use for what we're doing. We really need ES File Explorer, but it's not available in the Play Store anymore, but it is on the hard drive, so we'll show you how to grab that here in just a second. RetroArch. We're also going to need the RetroArch app. Go ahead and install that. And guys, clear off about 20 to 30 minutes to do this completely. The video will probably be a little bit longer. It's probably take a little bit longer the first time for you guys to do it, but just go ahead and install the MAME for Droid as well. Now you can do that on a hard drive. This one just happens to update with the app in the App Store if there are any app updates that are done to it, so it's good just to have it from here if you can. All right, so once we're in here, we're going to go over to our plus sign and add these to the main page so we can get to them, the FX, the MAME, and the RetroArch. Now before we get into moving files and setting all that stuff up, we have to set up the RetroArch and your controller. So what we're going to do is grab our controller and we're going to open up the RetroArch. And we're going to go ahead and external, yes, and allow. Okay, now this is probably the most time-consuming part of setting this whole guy up. We've got to move each one of these emulators and load it on the cores onto this bad boy. So we're going to go to load core down here. And then we're going to go to download a core. Now, when you go through these, I'm going to click on them one by one. You're not going to sit here through the whole video with me. I'm going to pause it so you don't have to sit and watch this. But all I do is click on each one and watch it go ahead and extract, okay? Now, there are ones on here that you're not going to need or use, but they're few and far between. So it's easier just to go ahead and download each and every one of them, wait a half a second, and then move on to the next one. This pace that I'm doing is pretty good. That's where I would try and keep it. You go a little faster if you choose to, but when you get to the bottom, just go ahead and unpause the video. All right, you should be at ZX Spectrum and be done. So we're gonna back up out of there, hit your B button to go back. Now we're gonna slide over to the settings. Now we're gonna move down and we're gonna go to video first. And most people like to play in that full aspect ratio. If you like the full aspect and not the small screen in the middle, you want to stretch across your whole screen, you need to change the aspect ratio to 16.9. Okay, and then back out. Now we're going to go down to, let's see, input. Sorry, went past it. And a couple things we need to move in here. The first one is the poll type behavior. We're going to change that to early, which is where it is if you just click it when it first comes up. And you notice now poll type behavior is early. Then we're going to scroll down to where it says hot bind keys. And we're going to do a couple here. The first one is quit RetroArch. So what we're going to do with quit RetroArch is we're going to click on the two shoulder buttons and hold them both down simultaneously up here at the top. So these top two right here. We're going to hold those down when we go ahead and activate this guy. All right, now that's set. And the last thing we want to do is we want to do load state, save state. So we're going to hit save state and we're going to push down on the thumb button of this controller right here, this analog stick. All right, that'll allow us to save and load our games at different points. So everything's pretty much set up. You can set up the fast forward in here. I don't advise it because pretty much you're out of buttons at this point. So you're actually going to be using a trigger or something that's necessary to actually fast forward. Now what you could do is if you go up here to fast forward and hit the toggle here, fast forward, hold, you're going to do the right shoulder button all by itself. That should be okay. Other than that, you guys are set up and good to go. We're going to back out of here, and then we're just going to hit those two shoulder buttons, and it'll back us right out to prove that we did it. All right, so now the next thing we need to do is go over to our FX and open it up. We're going to accept. We're going to allow. We're going to back out of the tutorial and hit OK. All right, so the first thing we do is go to our options, and we need to eject or mount. Let's make sure our hard drive that we plugged in is there. It should say hyperdrive. Sometimes it won't read the name. It'll just have a bunch of letters and numbers up there. But as long as it's there, we are good to go. Okay, so we're going to back out of there, and we're going to go over and we're going to open that bad boy up. So we're going to go to media card. Excuse me, sorry about that. I didn't mean to drag it out like that. All right, so the first thing we have to do is we have some apps we need to install. So we're going to go to the apps to install folder, and we're going to start with the Dolphin emulator, and we're going to go to settings, and we're going to allow FX to install unknown apps. We're going to open that emulator again, and we're going to install it. And then we're done. We're going to move over to the ES File Explorer and install it as well. This is what's going to allow us to move those files around a little more easily. And we're done. And we're going to move to the hyperspin. And we're done. And the MAME we've already done. You don't need the MSX EMU, but you do need the Yabo Senshiro. We're going to install that. And we're done. All right, so when we come out of here, we're going to have to grab a couple folders. We're going to completely exit here. We're going to move back over here, and we're going to take and we're going to set the hyperspin on the main page, and we're going to set the ES file on the main page, and we're going to set the Dolphin emulator, and we're going to set the Yabo Senshiro. Okay. Now we got to set some buttons up in the Android, so we're going to open up the Android, which is the MAME for Droid. Now, do you want to use the default ROM path? No. Okay. We're going to hit this button right here where it says up one time, then hit it a second time, and then go down here to the drive. Now notice it does not say hyperdrive anymore. It says 2G, blah, blah, blah. Just click on that. That's it. Okay. Then we're going to go down to the folder that says hyperspin. Then we're going to go to the one that says emulators. That's going to bring us here. We're going to go down, and we're in the MAME, so we're going to look for the MAMEs. There's the MAME for Droid folder. We're going to go ahead and open that. We're going to open the ROMs. Wait a second, and then we're going to go to done. Okay, so there's all the games imported into here, but this isn't where we're going to play them from. Now, if on the bottom of that joystick, the button that's the start button, the one that's in the middle of your joystick, you're going to go ahead and click that, and then open up the settings. From here, there's a couple things we need to do. We need to go into General, and the ROM path is there, but we want to change. Actually, no, there's nothing in General we need to change because we did the path already. So we gotta go into Advanced, and we're gonna slide down, doubler, make sure all these are perfect. Video engine, everything's good there. So now we just need to scroll down to where it's a scaling mode. And we're going to stretch to fit screen again, so we're not on that little screen. We want the full screen effect. We're going to hit full screen here, and then scaling mode, stretch to fit screen on the bottom. So stretch to fit screen on the landscape display, full screen toggled here, and scaling mode at the top for portrait. Make sure that's stretched to fit as well. And then we're going to go to input. Okay, so we have an external controller. We're going to click on that. Nvidia Sheild down here. We don't have, this is for the air mouse. We're not using the air mouse, so we're back up here. We're going to go to external controller, and we're going to go to mode, and we're going to change this to general multi-controller, and then we're going to go down to define keys and select player 1. Now, if you have a second player, you would hit select player 2. Now, each one of these, you're just going to click. Now, this is the directional button that is on your joystick. This one right here is the up, down, left, right we're going to be using. So when we go on the up, we're going to hit the A button on our joystick and then push up, pull down, hit the A button again and push down. Go to left, push left, right, hit the A button, push right. Now the A button is A, the B button, hit the A button and then the B button. The C button is going to be the A button, then the X button. The D is the A button and the Y button. The E is the top right trigger, and not the trigger, the shoulder button. So you can't use triggers with this for some reason. So you're going to go, then the F is going to be the top right. So the left is E, right is F. However you want to set those up. Keep in mind, those buttons are only used on fighting games that actually would have had 6 buttons originally. I'm going to come down here to coin. Now for coin, we're going to push this analog stick. Keep in mind, no matter how we set these buttons up, they're going to be completely different from what we just did in the RetroArch, because this is completely a different setup. For start, I want to use that center middle button that actually is the start button. This guy. For exit, we're going to use that far left button on the bottom, which is this guy. And then for option, we're going to use that toggle right here. Again, you can set these up differently if you choose to. You can use any of the number of buttons that are on the controller if you want to change something up a little bit. Once that guy's set up, we're going to hit B, B, B. Okay, and then we're going to hit the far left button on the bottom, and that's going to allow us to exit. Okay, so that emulator is now all set up and it will work with the hyperspin. Now we have to do the Dolphin emulator. Enable step reporting, we don't really use that, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so you go into config, there's nothing in here you have to change, just so everybody knows. We're gonna go over to GameCube because that's what this emulator runs. We're gonna do controller 1. We're gonna use emulated. And now we're going to set our buttons. So the same thing, we're going to pull down until that lights up with that gray there, and then we're going to hit the A button. And then we're going to hit the A button again. Now we're going to go down and hit the A button and then the B button. Then the A button and the X button. Then pull down and the A button and the Y button. Z, again, we're in a spot where you can pick anything you want to use for this. Top shoulder, right shoulder, we're going to hit the Z, be the right shoulder. Start is going to be our start button on the bottom, just like it was in the arcade. Now, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom to show you guys something. I like to start down here with the D-pad. The D-pad is that first joystick we set up. That's the main one with the buttons, kind of, on your left hand thumb. So we're going to go ahead and hit the A button, then right, A button left, A button down, A button up. Now, the next one is our left and right trigger, so we're just going to hit the trigger left, trigger right. Okay? Now we're on to the C-stick. The C-stick is the one on the right-hand side, the analog controller on the right-hand side. So we're going to hit A up, A down, A left, A right. And then last but not least is the control stick, and that's going to be your analog stick on the left-hand side where your left thumb is. So we're going to hit that one and hit up, down. Again, you always hit the A button, left, and right. Okay, so we're all set up there. Now we'll back out of here, back out. We're gonna add folder, hit our back button, find our hard drive. Then we're gonna go down to hyperspin, we're gonna go down to emulators, and we're gonna slide on down to Nintendo, GameCube, ROMs, and of course we're here, we're okay. Okay, once that's done, you're gonna hit your B button again, and you're out of the emulator. Now we're down to the last one we have to configure, and we're about to be playing games, guys. It's crazy, isn't it? We're gonna hit the Yabo Sanshiro, open it up. This one's a little bit more of a pain in the butt. Let that go ahead and do its updating process. We're gonna decline. We're gonna go to settings, select game directory, and I've already set this one up, but I'm gonna show you how to do this again. I'm gonna delete this one. And we're going to add it again, and I'm going to show you guys where to go. So you're going to hit your 3 buttons, your 3 lines up at the top, hit that again, And there's your hard drive. We're going to click on it when you see it. Okay, then we're going to go down to hyperspin. Then we're going to go down to emulators. And this is for the Sega Saturn. So we're going to go down to Sega Saturn. So there you go. Saturn. And then we'll hit the ISOs and select directory. Okay, whoops, nope, that was not correct. Delete that bad boy. You should hit Files, Yabo, Games. Yes, so Android Data, Yabo, we'll do that. Okay, so then delete this top one. Oops, won't let you delete it. So just leave it on that one and it'll pick it up when you guys go ahead and do it. Okay, and then back out of there. We are going to go back to settings, sorry, because you got to come down here and do your choose player 1. We're going to use an Nvidia controller. Then we're going to edit key map. We're going to push up, we're going to push down, left, left trigger, right trigger, the start button on the bottom, the A, the B, the C, the D, which is the A, B, X, Y, and then you can use shoulder buttons for the last 2. Analog stick X is you pushing down on that right analog stick. And then you just back out of here. But you're going to need your actual remote to do this. So you got to pick up your remote from your TV or your Nvidia Sheild, and then just hit skip, 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 skip. Okay. So we're done there. We're going to back out, back out, back out, and that's pretty much it. We've set up everything we have to do. Now all we have to do is open up our hyperspin, and it was just that easy, guys. All right, so that's the load up beginning. And then you got your interface. It's going to start right here with Atari. If you want to play an Atari game, it's this easy. Just click on Atari, pick a game. Never knew there was an 18 game. Don't know how I missed it, but we're not going to play that one. It looks terrible. It really doesn't matter. We'll do Air Raid. All I do is hit the A button on Air Raid. It recognizes my controller as soon as I push something, and I am playing Air Raid. Now, how do I leave? Everybody remembers how I leave. I just hit the 2 shoulder buttons twice. Okay, so that's the 7800. I can go down, or the 2600. I come down here to the 7800. Doesn't matter what I pick. Here, I'll jump into asteroids. And they load up. Again, guys, you don't have to do anything else. Everything is ready to go on this drive. Every system's on here that you can possibly think of, with pretty much every game ever made for that system. We'll jump out of there. Move on down. The next one is the Atari Jaguar. You will find a game here or there that will not play. Just keep that in mind. It will happen from time to time. Unfortunately, just not all the emulators will run all the games, but 99.999% are going to work on this bad boy. So here's your Atari Jaguar. I'm using my fast forward real quick. And we just use our start here. And then you set your buttons, and maybe playing that game. So I'll jump out of there. Move on down, you have the Atari Lynx. I'm not gonna click on all these guys. Your ColecoVision is here. This is one that had some issues on the previous version. We don't have that anymore. You just click on it, give it half a second. We'll jump out of there. Move on down to MAME. Now this is the other emulator that we had set up. And I can pick any of these. Let's do 1943. Okay, anytime a MAME game comes up, you're gonna push left and then push right, and left and then right, and that's what goes ahead and goes through the menu screen so you can actually load up. Now, to start these games, you're gonna take your left thumb and add credits. That was your coin button. And then your right, the bottom button on the start to hit start. And you're playing all of your other games. We'll jump out of there. Now to jump out, remember you have to hit that bottom left button on the bottom side. Now, whoops, I came all the way out, which is, there's a reason for this. I have to go back into ES File Explorer, and there's one more file we have to move now that we've used the emulators. So we're going to slide down, or slide up, and we're going to go to our SD card, which is our drive. Make sure it's highlighted. And then we're going to move down, and we're going to see the system file. We're going to hold our button down on it until it highlights. Then we're going to come over here and hit copy. Then we're going to hit our back button. Then we're going to go to internal storage. Then we're going to slide down till we find the RetroArch folder. And we're just going to paste it here. We're going to overwrite that with all our new system files. This part will take a few minutes because there's about 1,200 files that have to be moved over, but will not take long. Then all of our systems will work. We have a few systems that run off of this that wouldn't work. ColecoVision, I believe, was one of them. Almost done. Hang tight. We'll go ahead and pause it until these are done, guys, and then we'll pick it right back up. All right, once that's finished, just go ahead and back out to your main screen. Then open your hyperspin back up. And now you'll be able to go back, and it should sync right up with the ColecoVisions as well. So if I want to play that Arctic Adventure game that I couldn't play a second ago, now I can play. So we go ahead and hit the fast forward. Now all your systems will be synced up. There are no more issues. You can play any of these games. Go ahead and hit the two X buttons to get out. Let's go down. You can see pretty much anything you want to click on. You're going to be good to play. Here we go. Here's the real 3DO. This is something new for this this hard drive that we didn't have on previous hard drives. Battle chat. I mean, guys, there are thousands, and there are almost 20,000 games on this thing. So I mean, you pick someone had asked about Sailor Moon. We have it for the 3DO, and I'm pretty sure we have it on the arcade as well. So any of these games you want to play, doesn't matter. You can click on any of those 3DO games. Let's go down. One that was an issue previously, Sega CD. We'll just load one of these bad boys up real quick, because this was an issue on the last ones. They did not emulate properly. Now you'll notice. Hit the start button. There you go. All right, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Now you get full sound. Sound was an issue on the previous version.
With $1 million missiles and a Dolphin 20mm cannon. You'll need every ounce of firepower this plane can offer for your airmen.
All right, we'll jump out of there. So that's your Sega CD. You've got Sega CD Japan. Here's your Dreamcast games. If you want to jump into a Dreamcast, let's do 18-wheeler real quick. Again, guys, that's all it took to set this up. You can play all these games in a matter of less than 20 or 30 minutes tops to set this new bad boy up. Everything's set up. It's very self-explanatory. There's nothing better for a presentation, again. And right now, just $199. These will be going up probably to $249 in the next few weeks. So make sure you guys jump on these as quickly as possible. Oops. There we go. And jumping into Sega. And I'll fast forward again. All right. Show you guys all these games work great. There's no BS, no hard feelings on these hard drives. No one's gonna be upset at the amount of games you're gonna pay, be able to play for what you're paying for this hard drive. And we're talking about 20,000 games for $199 right now. Again, that will be going up to $249 very soon.
You're new, aren't you? If you got any problems, just call out. I'll give you a hand. Your destination for this job is Key West. Make sure you get there on time.
All right.
Go!
Start out low. up it into high. We'll hightail it on down the road.
We started to consider real professionals by making our deliveries on time. So hurry up and become a full professional.
Hey guys, there's so many amazing games on here that you're going to love playing and have a blast playing with you or your kids. This being one of them, I love this game. But again, we can jump out of this bad boy. We're just going to hit our shoulder buttons twice. We're out of our Dreamcast, Game Gear, Genesis, you name it. The system's on here. You want to play Naomi's. These are the arcade, some of the arcade versions. Sega Saturn, Neo Geo, and Sega, which all the arcade versions. This is the one that came with that first arcade stick. Awesome, awesome system. But again, guys, if you name it, if you can think of, oh, PlayStation, we didn't touch on that. You've got 1,400 PlayStation games on here, guys, and all the discs to each one. So if there was a big set where there was multiple discs included, you got every disc that was included. There are over 1,400 files on here, tons and tons and tons. I mean, you name a game, you pretty much got it for the PlayStation. Now, also, if you hit the top controllers, those shoulder buttons, you can actually fast forward to a section. So if I want to go to, let's say, the J's, now I'm in J's. So we can jump right into any of our PlayStation games. We'll do the Jet Ace. And we can fast forward. Keep in mind, these PlayStation games take a little longer to load up. There it goes. Start our mission. And there you go. We're playing Jet Ace. PlayStation 1. Perfect emulation. Locked on and done. Alright, so we'll jump out of that one. Again, you've got all the Jet Aces, all the PlayStation games you can think of. I'm going to play Jackie Chan Stuntmaster. Just click on it. And you guys see how quickly and easily these load up. From here, we can go down. We've also got our PlayStation Portable Minis. Looks like a pretty cool game. PlayStation Portables, your PSPs, you name a game, Super Nintendos, every Super Nintendo game made. I mean, there's just thousands. I'll go into the minis real quick, or the PlayStation Portables real quick, and show you guys. This library is huge. So we started at the ones. We are still just flying through, and we're just now at the T's. Keep going and going and going and going and going and going. I'm still at the S's, guys. There's thousands of games pretty much on each system. You guys can see them. I'm just now in the R's and the P's. Again, if you guys want to search, you just hold that top right trigger or top right shoulder button down, and I can change to whatever letter I want to. I want to go to M, I just click on M, and here's every M game. Here's all your Maddens, 10s, 11s, 12. Every Madden game right there for your PlayStation portables. You name it. And what's cool is you got the videos on each one. There's not a more professional setup anywhere on the planet for these guys. It makes it super easy. Your Super Nintendos, again, it's every game ever made that you can possibly think of for the Super Nintendo. You just can't. If you want to exit, you could do that now. I'm not going to do that real quick. So that's pretty much it. That's how everything works. You just move up, down, pick your system. Once you pick your system, then you just go in and pick a game. Once you pick a game, it takes you straight into the emulator and makes it work. Again, guys, these are $199 right now. If you check the description of this video, click on the description of this video, you'll see the link to buy these right now for $199. They're not going to be $199 for long. So if you click on the description and they're $249, that just means you missed out on the $199 introductory rate. We're just trying to get some reviews on these things so we can get the word out. But we thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. If you have the 1 terabyte hard drive and are ready to upgrade to the 4 terabyte, it's the thing to do. You can always sell your 1 terabyte to a friend or family member if you want to. So everybody have a great day, and thanks for watching.